It is time to breathe again. Finally, on the Breath of Fresh Air webcast. Or this is Shortie, sorry. It's a Breath of Fresh Air Shortie on YouTube. So I am your host, Charles Taylor, and I am so glad to be back. It has been at least a few weeks since we have been, or since I have been on here with the Shortie. You know, Patrick Brackett has done maybe the last one or two Shorties. I've been going through a lot of stuff, but again, it's all good. Nothing bad going on. Just have a lot of stuff going on in terms of getting things together. You know, just personal stuff. Just trying to make ends meet. But everything is good. Everything is positive, and can't complain too much at all. So once again, I'm glad to be back with y'all, and let's get right to what this Shortie is about, which is Major League Baseball. Now, as you guys know, Patrick and I normally put some picks together for the beginning of this season, or for the beginning of each season. Uh, we honestly, okay, I'll say it for me. I honestly don't know how this season is going to go. This is definitely a unique experience of what we are seeing right now in the wake of everything that's going on with COVID-19. And we just don't know how the seasons are going to go. Be as it may, Major League Baseball, even though they basically puked and threw up on themselves trying to get a season in place, finally were able to get a season in place. And it's about 60, 61 games, something like that. I think 61. But as it is, here comes our picks for this. And also, one more thing before we get started. Now, Patrick and I, we pride ourselves on knowing what we're talking about, or being educated about our views on whatever topic. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have no idea how this season is going to go. I have no idea what's going to happen with this season. So take my picks that I'm going to have in particular with a grain of salt, because I have no idea, and I'm not going to try to act like I know. So this is one of these situations where I am just going right off the cuff and thinking, or trying to think logically. A lot of this is based on what we saw last year or in the last couple years, but this is the equivalent of a basically sprint for a season. There's 61 games. And we know baseball is normally 162 games for a season. It has got cut down by over 100 games, or by 100 games. So without further ado, let's get to Patrick and mine's picks. So, of course, Patrick couldn't be with us right now because he was tending to some business. All right. That business was, it was his anniversary. So with this being his anniversary, I wanted to be able to wish Patrick and his wife 80 I hope they had a healthy, great time celebrating their anniversary, because that's what they were doing over the weekend. And because he was getting ready for that, he wasn't able to be, well, hell, I wasn't able to do a Shortie either. So we're trying to catch up with things, and I think we're getting back to it. But I hope Patrick and his wife 80 had a great anniversary and a great time celebrating their anniversary. Without further ado, let's get to these picks. So I'm going to start with Patrick's picks, and then, well, okay, I'll start with Patrick's pick for each division, and then I'll give you mine. So Patrick, let's start with the AL East. He has the Yankees, the New York Yankees, winning that division. I have the Tampa Bay Rays winning that division. Now, the reason why I have Tampa Bay is because normally Tampa Bay gets off to quick starts, and they seem to fizzle, if they do fizzle, when the season continues to go along. Well, you're not going to have that time to fizzle. It's if you get off to a good start, then you can basically ride that out for the rest of the season. So I'm going with Tampa Bay to win the AL East. Yes, indeed. Patrick, again, is going with the New York Yankees. Moving over to the American League Central, Patrick has the Cleveland Indians winning that division. I have the Minnesota Twins. Same thing. You'll see with my picks, I'm going mostly with the teams who have been known to start off fast and then fizzle through the course of the season. Again, no time to fizzle really in this season. 61 games. If you get off to a hot start, you might be able to ride that out. So I'm picking the Minnesota Twins to win that division, the American League Central, and Patrick is picking the Cleveland Indians. Moving on to the American League West, Patrick has the Anaheim Angels, or the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, winning that division. That one's kind of interesting to me because I know Patrick doesn't like the Angels, but I tend to think his thinking is the same as I have with the first two picks that I had in the Central and East divisions of the American League. The Angels do normally get off to a hot start. So I'm thinking, and he can clear this up to me, but I'm thinking he thinks the Angels will get off to a hot start and be able to ride that. Me, I'm going with the Houston Astros. I just don't think anybody is good enough in that division, not yet anyway, to knock off the Astros from winning that division. So I still have Houston winning that. I know maybe they'll get some beanball action. We'll see. But I think the Astros are still the best team in that division. So again, Patrick has the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim winning that, and I have the Houston Astros. Moving over to the National League. Surprisingly, Patrick has the Philadelphia Phillies winning this division. I just thought, just for the simple fact that Bryce Harper is on the team, he wasn't going to pick them by default. But he is picking the Phillies to win this division. I'm picking the Atlanta Braves. I think the Braves, just like with the Houston Astros, going back to the American League West, I just feel like the Braves are the best team in that division, and it really isn't going to matter about the hot start. I think they will find a way to get it done. I think they've gotten deeper with some of their changes, and I just think they're just better than everybody else in that division. Maybe by not a whole lot, but I still think it's the Braves division to lose. So again, Patrick has the Philadelphia Phillies. I have the Atlanta Braves winning the division. In the National League Central, Patrick has the Cincinnati Reds winning that division. Cincinnati, one of those teams that can get off to a hot start. And also, with this being a start, so where I think Patrick is going with this one is in Cincinnati. This is one of those ballparks that we like to call court ballparks. The ball jumps out of Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati during this time of the year. So if Cincinnati can get their bats hot, then there is a possibility they can ride a hot streak to the division title. I don't think so. I think it's the Milwaukee Brewers division to lose. I think they're the ones who are the best team in that division. And I kind of fought with that one. I almost picked the Chicago Cubs to win, but I think the Milwaukee Brewers has a little bit too much for the Cubs and the rest of that division. So I got the Brewers. Patrick has the Cincinnati Reds. So we'll see how that one works out. And both of us, we actually agree on one. Now, that's another thing. You know, Patrick and I agree with a lot of the stuff we talk about on this show. On these picks, we didn't agree with a whole bunch, but this is one of the picks we did agree with. We both have the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the National League West. I'm pretty sure Patrick just feels like that the Dodgers are just better than everybody else, and the Dodgers are loaded. They just signed Mookie Betts to a long-term deal to join the likes of Cody Bellinger, Justin Turner, and all those guys. So it's going to be hard to knock off the Dodgers, and I just don't see really any team that has the firepower to knock them off in that division. So National League West, we both have the Dodgers winning that. Going to the wild cards, Patrick has the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins winning those wild card spots, while I have the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians winning those wild card spots in the American League. And in the National League, Patrick has the Milwaukee Brewers because he has the Reds winning their division. He has the Milwaukee Brewers and the Arizona Diamondbacks winning those wild cards, while I have the Chicago Cubs and the Colorado Rockies winning that division, or excuse me, winning that wild card. So those are our picks. I can't speak for Patrick on these picks. I think he's the baseball guy out of the two of us. I mean, I know about baseball, but Patrick is. I mean, he's a student. He is the dude. He's the baseball savant out of the two of us. So I'm pretty sure he did a good amount of research to put these thoughts together. I'm here to tell you, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about with these picks. I'm just kind of going off of instinct here and just off of pure feel. But I think they're pretty educated. I mean, I would hope to think that they come out to be educated guesses, just to see how things turn out. I'm just kind of thinking about that 61 game season, and I think it's really going to be about the teams that get hot at the end or during the beginning of the season and can ride it out. It's going to be a lot of things to have to look out for. How teams manage their pitching rotations, how teams manage their bullpens. We all know the bullpens are where it's at when it comes to pitching, because you can run a starter out there for 4 or 5 innings, and even if he's pitching shutout ball or is giving up maybe a run on 3 hits, he's probably going to get pulled in the 5th inning because they don't want to blow his arm out and they want to go to the bullpens, and everybody's worried about that vaunted 3rd time through the lineup. So it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out, and honestly, it's going to be debatable whether this season even finishes. We all know what happened in Miami on Monday. There was a huge coronavirus outbreak. I think it's somewhere between 14 and 17 players who have caught the virus. They ended up canceling not just the game with Miami last night or Monday night, but they also canceled the game with the Yankees and Phillies in Philadelphia because the Phillies played the Marlins over the weekend, and they wanted to use that as a precaution. So this is going to be interesting. Baseball is the first out of all the 4 major sports in North America to get going, and if this is any preview of how things could go, in particular with the NFL, and I'll get to that in a minute, but if this is any preview of how things can be going, then it's going to be a long, long road for these leagues to get their seasons completed. The reason why I mentioned the National Football League is because when it comes to the NBA and the NHL, they kind of have a bubble system they're doing. So where all the players are going to be in one city and they're going to play all the games in one city or multiple cities in the case of the NHL, or I think it's 2. I want to say, and you could fact check me on this, I want to say it's Toronto and Edmonton that are the cities where the Eastern and Western Conference teams respectively are going to play. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I had heard. And again, tell me if I'm wrong. But those teams, those 2 leagues have a bubble system. The NFL, they're hell-bent on doing whatever it takes to get their season going as normal. Like, fans are going to be in the stadium and everything. It's risky. I think I would hope anyway the NFL understands the risk in doing that. But again, just like with all these leagues and just like what I've said on, I think it was my last Shorty that I did, there has to be a time, and you have to be able to progress. And if you decide you are going to get on this season and progress with the seasons, there's really no going back now. Whatever cases you get, you're going to have to deal with them. And if you have what you had in Miami, unfortunately, you're going to have to find a way to deal with it. I feel like if you cancel the season, there's really, I mean, there's that you're going backwards at that point. Now, granted, I mean, there's a lot of players who tested positive for the Marlins, so it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to even be able to field a roster to play any games. And we know the minor league systems is completely blown over right now as it stands. So there's going to be a huge adjustment period when it comes to that, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how the Marlins and Major League Baseball handles that. But other than that, that is what I am breathing on for today. Y'all make sure y'all check us out on the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel and smash that subscribe button. Also, keep those likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air, the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page as well. We are on the other social medias. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, along with Facebook and YouTube. Just let us know how we're doing. And I know there's a couple of comments that are on there I have to catch up with. So I'm trying to be better, y'all, about being on the show more and getting back on the live show, which hopefully we can do later on this evening. But until then, everybody take care. It's good to be back. And we hope to be more prevalent coming up here in the near future. So everybody, be safe out there. Take care of each other. Happy Tuesday. And hopefully we can see you guys later on tonight. Take care.